we have to know as gym owners that like November, December, those are going to be slower months for us. And we can't panic. We can't freak out. We have to stay level headed. And we need to probably plan for those things as well. And then knowing that going into January, that things are going to pick up again. And we had also talked about some different strategies that we were going to try. And I felt confident in, your ideas paired with, our model. And I felt like that was a really good thing, moving forward into January to look at sort of some videography stuff. And again, I always appreciate like you guys being innovative and mentoring and like your confidence and your honesty in what's happening. And I think that that's a really valuable piece of the puzzle with Lasso, paired with the fact that, we have to anticipate as gym owners and know that, there's going to be months that are going to be slower. There's going to be months that are going to be better.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks.
All right, guys, here we go. Another episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple with Blake and Sherman. Today we have a very special guest, long-time client now, Mikilah Speer. She's in Redding, California. If Redding doesn't sound familiar to you, it's okay. There's a Netflix documentary that we're not going to talk about. But she owns FEM Fit Redding, an all-women's gym that's absolutely crushing it. So, Mikilah, thank you for hanging out with us today. Thank you. Seriously.
Thank you.
So let's, guys, this is new to me. This podcast, we're trying to grow this thing. Make sure that you go like and follow our page, our podcast, go like, leave us a 5-star review if you're listening. That helps us get our ratings up. I don't know what we're getting our ratings up for really, but help us out. Small business guys trying to change the world.
More people listen.
Isn't it supposed to be like subscribe now? That's what my kids always say. Subscribe, Mom.
Is that YouTube? Is it subscribe or is that podcast?
I don't know.
I think podcasts follow.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll figure it out for the next episode. Go do something. Go show us love. Follow us, subscribe us, like it, share it. So we'll go from there. But Mikilah.
It's follow.
Okay, it's follow. So follow us on the podcast. We're trying to get 1 million followers. So let's talk about the gym. All women's gym. Obviously, huge fans of that. I always said if I opened up another gym, it would be an all-women's gym, and I would make my wife the face of it. I would just sit in the back and enjoy the fruits of her labor. How long has the gym been around? Just give us a little bit about the gym.
Sure. Yeah. So we are an all women's strength and conditioning gym, but we're very holistically focused. So we're not just like a women's boot camp kind of situation. We're set up, it looks more like a CrossFit gym, but we do very specific training for women in different seasons of life. So we train women in the different seasons like perimenopause and menopause. That's a big focus for us, as well as helping women understand the different phases of their menstrual cycle and then train accordingly daily with that. And then, of course, the foundation of the gym was built on prenatal and postpartum fitness. So every day in all of our classes, you'll always see, for one, car seats everywhere. And then we do a lot of core and pelvic floor health in all of our classes. But we offer some different styles of classes too. So we have a strength and conditioning class, which is going to look most like a CrossFit class. And then we also do a bodybuilding style of training. We have a beginner's class. We do a postpartum series. So yeah, that's just kind of what we do, who we are in a nutshell.
Cool. So now you've been with us for a little. I still remember our initial call, but like what sort of made you reach out to us in the beginning to talk to these guys that were helping gyms sort of grow? Like what was your sort of problem?
Yeah, I think I missed a part of your last question, which was like how long we've been around. So we have been in our brick and mortar for about 3.5 years. I was training women in my garage for about 2 years before that. And then before that, I actually was training inside of a CrossFit gym. I developed a class called Mommy Fit just because I noticed a need for a lot of pregnant women and just women to like kind of develop their own class. And so really the idea of my gym has been around for almost a decade. But we have been in our brick and mortar for about 3.5 years now. Just continuing to grow steadily. And about a year and a half in, I would say, yeah, roughly that, I just kind of felt like, okay, the newness is over, right? Like all the people who wanted to come try the gym and had just heard about FEM Fit, they had all came and tried it. In my own little circle of people that I knew, they had all known about FEM Fit and came and tried it. And I think I've said this to you guys before, like you think you know a lot of people, but you don't know a lot of people, right? Like there are so many more people to reach outside of your circle. And I just started to feel that initial dip of new membership. And I thought, oh my gosh, we're not struggling, but we're not moving forward. And me, I'm always of a growth mindset. I always want to, stay ahead of the game, ahead of the curve. I like to think of myself as like always thinking like 6 months to a year ahead of the gym. And so I thought, okay, we got to do something different. We got to do something now. I had gone to a conference and you guys were there the year prior. And I had been continuing to get your marketing stuff. So good job. And I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe this is the direction that I need to go. I have a really good friend who is a physical therapist and he does his own paid marketing. And he like is really good at putting himself on Instagram, but he actually took a course to be able to do his own paid marketing. And I was like, that's cool, bro, but I don't have time for that. And then that's where I was like, okay, I'm going to look into this Lasso thing. And that's when we jumped on our call. And I was like, oh boy, this is a big risk, but that's what business owners do. We take risks. And it was the best decision I ever made for my business.
Yeah, no, I remember when we talked, like when we get on these, for you guys that haven't ever talked to us on a sales call, this isn't a high pressure, like sign up or your business is going to burn down. We sort of just listen to your problems and then we tell you if we can or if we don't think we can really help you. And we knew talking to Mikilah, like we knew we could help her. Her gym was already solid gym, but we love the concept of just all women's gym. No one else is really doing it well. She was doing all the right things. She just needed to get in front of more people. And pretty much from the beginning, it's been a sort of dream come true for her and us as well, because we get to brag like, that we helped her. So let's sort of talk about this trajectory of your business that's coming on with Lasso.
Can I give a disclaimer too? That
yes, absolutely.
On the other side of my wall in the building that we are in, we share a wall with a CrossFit gym. And I just I love that perspective because I'm like, I feel like a lot of people think that you have to be the only one in your area doing what you're doing or, have to be super, super unique, which we are unique in what we do. But, the paid marketing is what has put us on the map for people. Like we are above and beyond what that CrossFit gym is doing because of our paid marketing.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Yeah, because I remember on the initial call you were saying, well, with this work, these people are right next door to him. And I was just like, them being next door to you have nothing to do with what we're going to help you do. Especially, and I know Blake does the magic stuff, looking on the back end, see what they're doing, figuring it out. So yeah, no, that was good. So yeah, let's talk about the trajectory of since you've come on board with us. So
yeah, so basically when I got on board with you guys, I made a goal to double my revenue, I think within a year. And we crushed that goal within 6 months, I believe. And yeah, it's really cool to see the metrics on push press every day and just even looking back and how it says, a year from now, your revenue is up 50%, your revenue is up 70% from the year prior. And that is just such a cool thing to see and to realize and just know like that. What I love about these ads is that they give me confidence in knowing that like my business is going to continue to thrive and that I can, talk to you guys and we can make, adjustments where needed, which hasn't happened very often. But I really appreciate just like the mentorship that you guys have given me. And again, the confidence that you've given me as a business owner to know that not only can we crush it in the city that we're in and on the other side of while sharing a wall with a CrossFit gym, but you've given me the confidence to really look into expanding our business into other cities. And that is the goal for 2025 and beyond.
So give a little context. Like when you started, what was the revenue, and then what was your goal? And then, like even when you started, and then what was it, you just finished 2024. What did you in 2024?
We ended, okay. So we started out, we were roughly 20 a month. And then, the goal was to double the revenue, and we did that within 6 months. And then we also, in this last year, we were able to become a Lululemon retailer. So that has been a really fun, other side of the business, but I wouldn't have been able to do that and make that investment if I didn't know that my gym was steadily growing in the right direction. So not only has that been able to give us another great stream of revenue, but, we also are just continuing to move forward with our regular revenue in the gym. So we're sitting at over 200 members consistently. And I think our revenue, like the last few months, was upwards of 45.
Okay. So you're literally over 100% growth. So
yeah. And I had this conversation with Tommy the other day, like how much more can you grow, in the gym? And I thought that was like a really good reflection. And, because, our classes are full, and it's hard to, like, our schedule is full, our classes are full. We have people on high ticket items. And, so the next step, we have two directions that we're trying to go, which one is to buy a building. And the other one is to hopefully open another location in another city. So whichever one of those things comes first, but we're always looking at buildings. I would love to have a model where we are running 2 classes at one time, because I think you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we're kind of at max capacity with what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think one thing so basically 20K a month, you extrapolate that over 12 months, even if you stayed the same revenue, you're up $200,000 or more this year, right? Compared to the other years. But
Yes.
I think one thing that was really interesting that we talked about in December, you're like, hey, it's like, I think one problem gym owners have is they're just so emotional. Like, if I'm just honest, they're so emotional. I get it. It's your baby, it's your business, and we're like that even at Lasso's. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you have to go back and look at the landscape of over the course of the year, right? It's like we were on the call in December, and you're like, hey, it's a little slower, but I know that I'm up X, right? So I would say, what gets you to that mindset, and how do you even, from a gym owner's perspective, I know I can give my own thoughts, but from your perspective, hey, I'm investing, $1,500 to $2,500 a month. It's a slower month, but how do you get to that mindset that, like, it's still worthwhile?
Because it's really important for people to continue to see your ads. Maybe they're not taking action on it right at that time because it's not, in their schedule at the time. It's December, everyone's so busy, but it's your ads are still in their face, right? They're still thinking about your gym. They're maybe just not, again, taking action on it right then and there. But that when that time comes, right, you have to see things like a certain amount of times before you actually take action on it. And so I have so many people come into the gym that are like, I've been following you on Instagram for a while, but then your ads just kept popping up. They just kept popping up. And I love when people say that, because I'm like, okay, you had to continue to see my ad until you actually took action on it. And so knowing, for one, yes, we were up in revenue. We had been super steady. I personally was looking for a little bit of a slowdown, and I anticipated that, right? Like, we have to know as gym owners that, like, November, December, those are going to be slower months for us. And we can't panic. We can't freak out. We have to stay level headed. And we need to probably plan for those things as well. And then knowing that going into January, that things are going to pick up again. And we had also talked about some different strategies that we were going to try. And I felt confident in, your ideas paired with, our model. And I felt like that was a really good thing, moving forward into January to look at sort of some videography stuff. And again, I always appreciate like you guys being innovative and mentoring and like your confidence and your honesty in what's happening. And I think that that's a really valuable piece of the puzzle with Lasso, paired with the fact that, we have to anticipate as gym owners and know that, there's going to be months that are going to be slower. There's going to be months that are going to be better. But the ads should continue to run because people need to continue to see things. You're still on their mind.
Yeah, and some context to what Mikilah said about like being honest. Like when we give advice, we always give advice based on data, right? Like we're not just like whimming things. We're like, hey, last year, like things could be different, like year to year. But last year the cost per lead was this. It doesn't make sense to turn it off, even if you get 1 to 2. And we're going to go over this in our next podcast. But like, let's use some numbers here. So, Mikilah, how long does an average person stay at your gym?
On average, between 6 to 12 months.
Okay, let's just use an average of 8. What's the ARM, average revenue per member, if somebody doesn't know what that means?
Probably between 250 and 400.
Okay, so let's even just take 300. If you get one more client in December with paid marketing and you're spending, $1,750 to $2,500, one client, that lifetime value is $2,400. It doesn't even make sense to turn off your ads if you got one more client, because over the course of getting that client that you would have not gotten, you made your money back, that client. 2, you just doubled your money, right? Now, granted, it's not money coming in your pocket that month, but it's the lifetime value of the client, right? So many gym owners get caught up in, hey, this is what I spent, this is what I made this month. And that's not the way you can look at marketing, because it's not a product-based business. It's not a one-time purchase, right? It's a reoccurring model. And the better you do, the better your churn, the better your leg is, the lifetime value expands, right? So if it's like, yeah, they're making a one-time purchase of like AirPods, then yeah, it would only be that money coming in, but it's not that. So, in your case, it's like, hey, it just makes sense to run ads in December. If you only get 2 more clients, that's $4,800 minimum that you're going to make off that client.
And can I speak to that too?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have had already so many people that are like, I saw your ads in December. I needed to wait till January. And so that right there just goes to show you it's good that I was running those ads. They weren't coming into the gym, but they were thinking and they were planning. And they were like, okay, I'm going to do that in January. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Go ahead, Sherman.
No, yeah, I think that, a lot of times when like people have success early, right? They have a lot of success early, and then things tend to slow down. Like Blake said, they get emotional, they sort of freak out, but you haven't done that at all. Like you always come nuts and be like, hey, things are slowing down, but it's okay. I just want to let you guys know. And then we look at it. Oh yeah, everything's good. It's just part of the process. And, that's why I know that, all of your plans are going to work with this thing, because you really do have the right mindset around this growth, right? Like it would, so far you've been with us, it's sort of been a rocket. If you look at it if you stand back from it, it's just a straight line up. But if you get closer though, it's sort of, it slows down, goes down a little bit, goes up a little bit. But so many people, when they really get started with us, like we'll have people absolutely crush it with us. I mean, absolutely crush it the first 6 months with us, right? They'll crush it. They'll freaking increase their revenue by 50, 75%. And then maybe for a month or 2, it slows down. And they're like, oh my gosh, this isn't working. I don't know if I should do this. Maybe I should cancel. And we're just like, bro, your revenue went from 15K to 25K
Mm-hmm.
in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you only gain 3 members per month for the rest of the year, everything is okay, right? Like everything is okay. So
Mm-hmm.
for you guys that are listening, you need to make sure that you have the right mindset around this when you're running these ads, right? Like for some people, like Mikilah and some others, it is a just explosion of members and growth and money and all of that. But for some people, it's sort of up and down. It sort of depends. Because if you don't have realistic expectations, regardless of what we do, like it's not going to be able to help you. We talked to someone the other day. We sort of talked about it on the last podcast. They came on, Blake. What did they say? He was like, oh, I want to 5X, 10X my investment in the first month. Blake, what did he say?
Yeah, 10X. Shouldn't any investment give a 10X return like month one? And I'm like, where in life does that happen? Like,
Yeah.
if you go to the bank
I want
today
to
and
know.
say, hey, I'm gonna put this $1,000 in this mutual fund. Next month it's gonna give me 10K. Sign me up. We'll all be billionaires by the end of the week,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like that's
Realistic
not real
expectations is what we're helping people do.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the same thing that you do a great job. And I remember one of our first conversations. You're like, I'm 0 for 5. Like, I'm not selling anybody. I'm like, okay, where are you selling?
Oh my God,
And
I
it's
was
just
terrible at the
littlest
beginning.
Things, right? And it's just like, hey, stop
That
doing it
was
at your front
awful.
desk. Stop standing up. Go
Yep.
sit down. Just be vulnerable. Just be yourself, right? And just
Yes.
make it yours. And just, but when you do that, but you also set, we just talked about in our last podcast, or maybe it's coming out after this, but setting the expectations with the client too, right? Like, hey, this is where you're at right now. Let's be real about it. You just had a baby. To get back to where you need to be, we're looking at 12 to 14 months or whatever that may be based on their goal, right? And then because so many people have a hard time, and you sign up tons of people, showing the value. And I just got off a call with a lady who's like, I'm not good at sales. And I'm like, because it doesn't seem like you actually believe you're worth $200. And until you actually believe I can solve your problem and I know it, everyone is going to feel that comes in and sits down at your door. They're going to be like, it doesn't seem like you believe that you're worth that. Why would I pay that?
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that's something that you do great at, is just being honest and, relating to people. Go ahead.
I think one of the best things that you can do in sales is, like you guys have always said, you just shut up. You listen. And people want to talk. They want to tell you about you. And I don't know, maybe it's not that you need to do sales training. Maybe you need to do some conversation training and some like body language training that lets people know that you are enduring and you're listening to them and you care about them. But I think in one of your podcasts, Sherman, you said it best, just what you have to do. Here's all you have to do. You have to listen to them. You have to find their problem. And then you're going to tell them how you're going to solve it. That's it.
Yeah.
Tell them how you're going to solve it. And then they're like, here's my credit card. I think it truly is that simple. Like people just have to shut up. Like you can't, like they don't even care about how unique our gym is. Sometimes I don't even get to that point of like, here's all the cool things that we do. It's like, hey, like you're going through a divorce. You want to lose 20 pounds. You're lost. You need me to listen to you and care about you. And I'm going to continue to do that for you here in my gym. Done.
I agree. I think a lot of people, when they hear that, they're like, no, it really can't be that easy. Now, like we want to be clear. Every single person is like, people are different. Some people come in, they just want to talk, and no matter what you say, they're really not going to sign up. They just sort of they want to come and look at it and figure it out.
You got to figure out those people over the phone first. Don't waste your time with those people.
Correct. But again, most people that sort of click on an ad, talk to you a little bit on the phone, come in, these people have a real problem that we can solve. And when we really listen to what they want and talk about how our gym is the solution, it really is that simple, right? Like it really is that simple.
And think about like how hard it was for them to just come sit down in your gym, right? Like they first had to see the ad 27 times to actually click on it. They may not really 27 times, but maybe they saw it once and they were like, that's the gym for me. because Blake is so good at what he does. And so they clicked on the ad, and then they had to respond to a text, right? Sometimes even that's hard, right? Then you got on a call with them. Then you had a 10-minute call with them. Then it took them the time to actually like set up a time and come in the gym and then actually show up for the appointment. So by the time they step foot in your door, they've made their decision. You just have to seal the deal.
Correct. I don't, doing these intros in my gym for all those years, I used to tell people like, man, how are you so good at sales? How can you sell these people? I was like, I'm not really selling them. They come to me because I strongly believe if they have, like you said, fill out a Facebook ad, talk to me on the phone a little, responded to text messages, and then especially for ladies, because my gym had a little higher women count than men, as most CrossFit gyms do, I believe.
Yeah.
Like if a woman sits in front of me and tells me like stuff that she wouldn't tell, most people, I'm just like this
her husband.
Like this lady's ready to correct, right? This lady's ready to go. She's telling me, I'm not super confident. I'm trying to lose these 25 pounds. I'm just like, she doesn't know me. She just sit in front of a dude that's fairly fit. So I know it's a little uncomfortable for her. But if she's this vulnerable, like this is a done deal. Like I can't tell you how many people I've signed up and not even talking about the price of my gym. I listen to what they want. I talk about how our gym does it. They don't ask price. I'm not worried about it. And we just sign them up, and then at the end they're like, oh, by the way, how much was this? Then I'll tell them. But it's not a big thing like so many people try to make it so confusing and, we're too high for this market, and you're just not confident enough to help people. So that's why a lot of gyms struggle with this stuff.
Sure.
Like, it really is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like I've noticed lately that I've had a lot less of a struggle of people asking how much is your gym over the phone? And then even when that does come up, it's like, come on in. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all the things that we can do for you. It still is not even a conversation about like the price, And again, like you guys said it best, if someone is super badgering you about the price, you just should probably get off the phone with them right now because they're not going to buy anything from your gym.
Correct. I mean, that's the thing, right? People say, well, what if they say they're not coming in, or they're not going to waste their time until you give them a price? Let them go. If they're acting like that, like just let them go, right? Like let them go. Totally. Because you can't call the car dealership. Like I just bought a new car. That's why I'm using car dealership. You can't call the car dealership and say, tell me exactly the price of this car, tax, title, fees. Like that's not how it works. You have to go and you gotta play the game a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to deal with it a little bit.
To be honest, actually, lately, lately I have had several people come in and say, I know this is going to be a higher price. I know this is going to be like a little bit more pricey. And I'm like, I am so glad that you have that mindset and that we have the reputation of like, yes, like we offer a valuable product and this is what we're doing here. And look at all the people that are paying for this valuable product. Obviously it's a good thing, so I just love that people are already coming in with that mentality. Like they know that it's going to be a higher price point, which makes my job easier.
And I think one thing that gym owners get a lot, they're like, oh, just because they ask the price one time means that like they're bad leads. And I guarantee you've signed up so many people are like, well, what's the price? Come in and then you sign them up, right? Gym owners need to understand, and we say this all the time, they simply just don't know what else to ask.
Sure.
That's
they don't. Yeah.
They know.
I love that you have said that before because that's like 90% of what I'm getting right now on leads. Especially with Planet Fitness is like they're signing people up for like a penny or something like that. So everybody wants to know what's the price, and there's so many good ways. I don't know if you guys jump on the Lasso calls or podcasts, but there's so many good ways to segue away from that conversation or simply redirecting people, right? Like, hey, we have a variety of packages and pricing to fit your individual needs. I can't wait for you to come in and see our gym. And we're going to go over all of our programs and our packages.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I think that's good. And like back to the price thing, because I think people really need to get that really in their system because again, I just bought a car. I had some work done to it, some aftermarket work. And someone heard about the place that I was going to.
We're so in alignment right now, Sherman, because I just did the same thing. I just got a car, and then I had some aftermarket work, and I just got a dog, or I'm getting a dog.
So like, but this person, they were like, oh, they were like, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is literally what he told me. He was like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've seen nothing but absolutely incredible work from this place. I've only heard incredible things. He was like,
Yeah.
but I just want to be clear. He was like, they are really expensive. And I was like, sign me up then. I don't like this is something I want to spend money on. I'm invested. So sign me up. He was like, all right, I just want to be clear. And then I called the guy from there. I was like, hey, listen, I've heard some things about you guys. I heard you guys are expensive, but you do great work. He was like, thank you. That's what we love. Like we stand behind our service. And they just don't play that game. And I wish more gyms really bought into that, because we can't play the whole, oh, I can go down there for $10 a month. Yes, you can. But you're not going to get what you get here.
Absolutely.
Like, you're not going to get what you get here.
Yeah, I think that's such a valuable point of just, I know, client referrals obviously are one thing, but just having that reputation, for one, yes, you're a higher price point, but I know that you do great things. I've heard great things about your gym. And if we all could just like step into those shoes, we would help each other out, because if we continue to value ourselves and comparing ourselves to the Planet Fitnesses of the world, none of us are ever going to make money. We have to be in this market together. That is like, hey, we are of a higher price point because you're going to get so much value out of our small group classes, out of our individualized instruction, out of the programs that we run here, which are very different than what Planet Fitnesses of the world look like. So I think everybody just, we would all step into that confidence and raise our prices and get rid of free classes and start to just really value our own programs, we would all help each other out.
Man, I agree. We're going to end it right there, because I know she stepped on some toes, get rid of free classes, all that stuff. But Mikilah, if someone hears you, because I know there are some women that's going to hear this to be like, I want to talk to another woman that's absolutely crushing it in this gym space. How do they get in contact with you if they just want to reach out and ask questions or whatever?
Sure. Yeah. You can definitely reach out over Instagram or Facebook through FEM Fit Reading is our handle. My personal handle is Mikilah, Mikilah, or you can email me at info@femfitreading.com.
Perfect. All right, guys. As usual, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's LASSOFRAMEWORK.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.